Hey everybody, so today we are going to first review sector area from last unit, and then I'm going to show you how to do the same, but with arc length. So remember, a sector is just a region bounded by two radii. It's the shaded region here. So I just want you to think of, when you're working on this, part over whole. So you're looking for the part of the sector, which is the sector area over the whole area, pi r squared, equals whatever your angle measure is, your central angle over 360, part over whole. So determine the area of each shaded region to the nearest tenth. So first of all, I want to calculate the area of this circle. So pi r squared would be pi times 3 squared, 9 pi. Since we're looking for the part of the area, that's your part over your whole area, 9 pi, equals the part of the angle you have is 80 over 360. And then you just cross multiply. So x times 360, 360x equals, I usually just multiply the 80 and the 9 together. I don't multiply the pi yet, so I'll do 720 pi. Because sometimes it'll say leave your answer in terms of pi. So we'll divide, both sides by 360. So we get 2 pi. So if it said in terms of pi, that's your area. But it wants us to round to the nearest tenth, so we'll just do 2 times pi in your calculator. 6.3 inches squared. All right, same thing over here. So the area, here's your radius, pi r squared, pi times 2 squared, 4 pi. That's your whole area over x. Now, be careful. The angle here is for the unshaded area. So if that's 100, if you want to figure out the other area that you're looking for, we'll subtract. So this whole area would be 260 degrees. So instead of 100 over 360, it's 260. All right, cross multiply. So we have 360 times x equals 260 times 4 pi, which is 1040 pi. And then divide by 360 on both sides. And I'm going to put the pi and everything in, so we get that the area is approximately 9.1 centimeters squared. Okay, this last one is a little different. It says the area of the sector is 18 pi. Find the central angle this time. If the area of the circle is 40.5 pi. So this, I know the area of this, so the part of the area of the sector, 18 pi over the whole area, 40.5 pi, equals the central angle, which we don't know. That's what we'll call x over 360. Now it's nice when it's this way because the pi divided by pi cancels out. So now you're just going to do x times 40.5 equals 360 times 18. And then divide both sides by 40.5. So x equals 160, and since it's degree, or an angle, it's degrees. Okay, the last piece of this, if you're looking for the area of this little segment here, you're going to do two different things. So we're going to figure out the area of the sector, which we just did, and then the area of this triangle, and then just subtract them. Okay, so let's start with the sector. Our radius is 4, so the whole area is pi times 4 squared, 16 pi. So I'm going to do x over 16 pi equals the angle, 90 over 360. Okay, cross multiply. 360 times x equals 90 times 16. So 1440 times pi. I'm going to divide by 360, and I'm going to leave it in terms of pi, so I'm just I'm going to just bring the pi along, just divide the numbers, so we get 4 pi. Which makes sense, because if the whole thing is 16 pi, and this is 90, that's a quarter of it. 16 pi divided by 4 would be 4 pi. All right, so if I want to find this now, I have to figure out the area of this triangle. Well, the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. 1/2, 4 times 4. Whoops. Half of 16 would just be 8. So if we want to figure out the whole thing, I'm going to take the area of the sector minus the area of the triangle. And there's the area of your sector. Or excuse me, your segment. If you put it into the calculator, you get 4.6. So in terms of pi, or to the nearest tenth. All right, and we'll do more practice with that in class. All right, this is the new one, arc length. So arc length, you're just looking for how long this arc is. So that's part of the circumference, right? The circumference goes all the way around. So it's going to be part over whole. So x over pi times diameter, because that's your circumference formula, that's given to you, equals the angle over 360. So let's give it a try. All right, so our degree is 90. We're looking for this arc length. If your radius is 10, your diameter is 20. So your circumference, remember, is pi times diameter, 20 pi. So if you were going all the way around the circle, it'd be 20 pi. We're looking for just this segment, so we'll call it x. The angle is 90 over 360. Again, I noticed that 90 is a quarter of 360, so if I divide 20 pi by 4, I'll get 5 pi, which will work, but also, you need to be able to cross multiply too, because it doesn't always work out like that. Okay, so 360x equals 90 times 20 pi, so 1800 pi. Divide by 360. And it says to leave it around to the nearest hundredth. So it would be 5 pi, but if we type it in, it's going to be 15.71 feet. Not feet squared, because it's just the circumference. It's like perimeter. Okay, so your diameter would be 12, so your circumference is 12 pi. So x over 12 pi equals 40 over 360. Cross multiply. That's the degree measure. 40 times 12 pi is going to be 480 pi. And then we'll just divide by 360. And we get 4.19 meters. So once you get it set up, it's exactly the same as the area of the sector. It's just, instead of over the full area, you're going over the full circumference, which is pi times diameter. All right, last two. Find the length of an arc with a measure of 45 degrees and a circle with a radius of 2. So arc length, remember when we're looking at this, is not area, it's just part of your circumference. So it's 45 degrees, okay? The radius is 2. So your diameter, which you need for your circumference formula, would be 4. And that formula is right on the formula sheet. So x over the whole circumference equals 45 over 360. Cross multiply. And when we divide by 360, 180 divided by 360 is either 1/2 pi or pi over 2, or it doesn't say what to round to, so 1.6. All right. Any of those is fine. All right. last question. An electron travels along a circular path with a radius of 4.6 miles. All right, so here's our circle. Okay, here's an electron, starts here, it's going in a circular path. Maybe it ends about there. Here's the rest of our circle. Here he is traveling along. All right. So determine the number of miles the electron traveled during an interval and when the central angle is 220. So this is 4.6. The central angle is 220. Okay. So the diameter, if the radius is 4.6, the diameter is going to be 9.2. So your circumference is 9.2 pi. We're looking for just the path that it was on. So just part of the circumference over the whole circumference equals part of the angle, 220, over the whole angle, 360. Cross multiply. It's a 24 pi. Divide by 360. And we get approximately 17.7 miles. All right. That's it for today. Tomorrow we'll be working on the practice for this. If you want to give it a try now, you can. Or you can wait and go over it together tomorrow. Have a good day.